Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. It is a Tuesday edition. We'll have Buddy Martin. We'll have Ernest Graham, former Gator running back. His son is Miles Graham, plays for the Gators. He's the new football coach at Santa Fe High School. So we'll have him on board. Second portion of today's program. Gators play tomorrow night against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Not a whole lot going on in the sports world right now, quite honestly. So let's head to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by the host of the Buddy Martin Show. You can listen to that weeknights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Buddy Martin Show. Good morning, buddy. How you doing, bud?
Good morning, Shane. I'm doing good. It was a really good week for Gators, Gator fans, except for the complaining about the prices of the concessions at the baseball field. A lot of those going on. But you know what? Money's tight for everybody right now. And it costs a lot to go to the ballpark. Any ballpark you go to, you're going to pay a premium. Apparently, I don't know what the prices were, but whatever they're charging now, like $7 for a hot dog. One guy writes about it, getting $19 for free chicken dinners and a beer. I don't know.
Well, he must not have been going to the ballpark since it opened, because they've been the same prices. You know,
that's not probably or 10,000. There are 9,000 people there this past weekend. It's one game record. Anyway, just money's money. Right now, it's tight. And there's a lot of talk about money because that's what it takes to run a program. As one guy said, it's worth it to be able to have Sully as your coach. So
yeah, Sully's making a lot of money. Somebody's got to pay that bill. So that's why hot dogs and pretzels and beer are pricey there. Buddy, Gator basketball plays tomorrow night against Alabama. How do you think that's going to unfold?
Well, I'm counting on Walter Clayton Jr. because he's a road warrior. You look at the numbers, what he has done. He's had a couple of bad games. He, by the way, is one of 5 nominated for that Bob Cousy Award. Mark Sears, Cam Jones from Marquette, Braden Smith from Purdue, and Zakiah Ziegler from Tennessee nominated. He is he's what are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Barone. He sneaks his hot dogs in under his armpits, keep them nice and warm.
Of course, Barone would do that. Walter Clayton, here's his road record. Okay, he is really good on the road against ranked teams. Kentucky, 33 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Auburn, 19 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. So he knows how to play on the road. So I think it will be a big game for Florida, getting it right again. I think they still got a little snub by the committee. They, of course, lost to Georgia, even though they won the big game against A&M. They dropped. They keep winning and drop. But that's it. As you keep telling me every Monday night, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Gators are going to be worst case a 2 seed. Just keep playing ball and winning, and it's been a phenomenal year. And it all starts. The SEC tournament. We'll see how we approach that. But
double bye, it should be good. You know.
Yeah, they get a double bye. But do you want to? I think I was talking about last year. Alabama goes to the Final Four, and they got ousted day 1. Tennessee made a deep run, I believe, or maybe it was Auburn. Auburn got ousted early in the tournament, and they were the 1 seed and won the tournament. So none of that matters.
You got to win. You got to win no matter what.
Yeah, but the winning doesn't matter until the NCAA tournament.
Actually, they can use it to their advantage. Play the disrespect card. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's good that they're not flying high. Well, they don't. I'm sure Todd got that in his arsenal to come up with that Rodney Dangerfield quote. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to it. It's been a great basketball season, a lot of fun. What a great team to watch.
Text here on the Titan Mark text line says, "Are the Gators changing women's basketball coach?" I have not heard. Don't know.
I've not heard that. No.
That's a program that I just think it's impossible to win here.
We'll ask our guy Lauren Meadows tonight. He's very involved with that. He knows Kelly quite well. In case he does a broadcast over there, he hosted your show recently, by the way. And we'll see what he didn't have any indication of that, as far as I know, but you never know. I don't see it happening. We'll see.
Kanye Ron says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, he's headed to Nashville next week for the SEC tournament. 31M Bird says, I think it'd be better to get bounced in the first game and rest. Yeah, but you can look at it both ways. So
I like to win.
I know. I mean, I like winning too, but winning the SEC tournament or winning games in that does not mean anything if you don't win games in the NCAA tournament. So it's the same way with the SEC baseball tournament. It's hard to figure out. Hard to figure out. All right, buddy. Baseball.
Yeah.
Obviously, softball is rolling right along like we always thought they would. They start SEC play this weekend. They play Houston tomorrow in Houston and then go to College Station to face the Aggies. Baseball takes 2 out of 3 against the Miami Hurricanes.
Kind of sorry to see him get hammered like that in that third game, but it is good to sweep. By the way, Aiden King, first true freshman to be named the sole recipient of the SEC Pitcher of the Week since Tennessee's Drew Beam in 2022. So that's just a little note there. So Sully's amazing. What he does was, and I heard some of these transfers are really looking great too. He's great. These young pitchers, he develops them. They kick in at the right time. And then, of course, his hitters have been amazing recently. They get down to that stretch, they need the arms. They got them. And I hope this is what's going to happen again this year. But some tough competition, my goodness, in the SEC. The Gators are ranked, or they rank. They're ranked top 7, D1 and D1 and D1. Yeah. I don't know what that means, but this team's going to be good. They're going to hit the ball. They're going to play good defense, and they're going to pitch. That's what you do to win in the SEC.
Yes, that is very true. A couple of injuries with baseball, with Coppola being out, Cade Curlin, starting second baseman, dislocated his shoulder. They put it back in place, so I don't know how long he'll be out. Hopefully, he'll be back before they start.
What a stick! He's a
SEC
stick right
play.
there.
So we'll see. We got a text here on the Titan MR text line from James. He says, Shane, I know you don't like talking politics, but I want your thoughts on the Democrats all voting no to support no against women's sports or whatever. I know what he's talking about. He didn't phrase that correctly. I don't understand those people. Makes no sense. I don't like to talk politics. You can believe what you want, but any human being that thinks it's okay for men to play in women's sports has a screw loose. It's that simple. Doesn't matter what you believe in. From a standpoint of Democrat, Republican, that makes absolutely no sense at all.
I'm not sure that's what the vote was about totally, but anyway, I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, but regardless if it is, buddy,
well, no, it's not. It's of course, it's like anybody who's not against war is stupid. Naturally, okay, you don't want people to get killed, but there's more to it than this. It's not just that one issue. It's wrapped in that. That was a tweet by a person from another party who made it sound like all Democrats will say, "Come on in, let the boys play."
Buddy, it's not a tweet. They all voted against it.
Shane, I follow politics pretty closely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's very simple.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
You believe men should play against women? Yes or no?
That's not what this is totally about. Anyway, go ahead.
That's what the bill is. That's what's it about.
Did you read the bill?
Everything else aside.
Did you read the bill?
Everything else aside
has nothing
to do with that issue.
Okay.
That's my point.
I'm not going to argue about it. It's not.
Well, I mean, it's not an argument. It's black and white.
Okay. You think it's black and white? Okay.
I absolutely do, buddy. Let me ask you this: if you had a daughter that swam, that played volleyball,
Shane, don't put me to that. Of course,
it's a fact, buddy. It's
you know my answer.
It's
you
yes
know
or
my
no.
answer. With the bottom line, no, it's not always a yes or no.
It is. I mean,
could
I don't know how else you can argue that.
Of course, I'm against having boys and girls.
Then you just answered my question.
But that's not the question always. That's what it's couched to be. That's what it sounds like. But that's not why they voted or what they voted for. So I think it's wrong to categorize something in black and white. It's a trick. So let's just say, let's don't argue any party's side. Let it go. Of course, I'm against that. Of course, I
okay. Well, if you're against it, then you should.
Are you for
These
people?
are
Let me ask
clueless.
you this: are you for getting people killed in a war?
No, nobody should
It's the
get killed in
same
a
kind
war.
of question.
No, the question is do I want my guys to get killed
No,
in a war?
forget that
No.
first.
So
Forget
that's
that.
it's there.
Wait,
There. It's
forget that. Forget that part of what it is. I ask you a question about war and people getting killed. So
yes.
if you're okay with the war not coming to an end, then people getting killed, then you don't mind.
But
It's not
buddy,
that.
like I said,
That's
I didn't
not the
want to bring it,
question.
but I thought it was important because whether there's, I'm not talking about any other policies out there. I'm talking about black and white.
And you know my
Keep men
answer
out
on it.
of women's sports.
But
Period.
people are
Period.
putting words in my mouth that I'm not saying. Okay. I'm not for that. There's a lot more to it than that.
It's not though, not when it's
Okay.
this thing they're voting on.
Okay.
You're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
I'm not.
If
I've
if
never
no,
talked
I'm
out
not
of
talking about
both
you. I'm
sides of
talking
my
about
mouth.
these people. These people should be ashamed of themselves. They're
These
disgraceful human
people
beings.
are not all one. Shane, we get no never go. Let's go on forever.
But
Let's
buddy,
just
we're
stop.
not in war. Remember that. We're not
Okay.
in war.
Oh, we're not.
No,
Okay. Who's getting killed right now over in overseas?
none of
But
our people.
oh, oh, so it's okay for everybody else gets killed and we
I'm
don't.
not worried about anybody else that
Oh,
doesn't have
okay,
a
Shane.
American
That's
flag.
what got us into World War II. Read your history.
Okay, but I'm not
Roosevelt
bringing
said,
up
"I don't care
politics.
about
I'm
that,"
just
and
talking
Hitler ran
about
died
a
down the pole.
simple policy about women's sports. These people are clueless. That's all I
What
can say.
what what is your question to me?
Would you vote? Do you think it's okay for men to play in women's sports? Yes or
No,
no?
no.
Okay, that's all I needed to answer.
And that's not totally what it was about. Okay.
That is
Although
what it
although
says
people
here.
try to make it that, that's
Okay.
not totally. Okay. I'm trying
Okay.
to tell you. Let's drop
Okay.
it.
All right. I'm sorry to get off on a tangent, but the whole thing about
That's
this
why
is
you shouldn't
pissing me
talk
off.
politics. I don't I
I'm not
shouldn't.
talking that's the most simple thing in the world.
Mm.
Simple thing. So anyway, all right, buddy. Spring football practice starts Thursday. What do you want to see out of spring?
Well, I'm glad to have a game. I think it's important, even though it's not really a game. We know that. It's kind of a rites of spring. And as we talked about on my show last night, people like to come to Gainesville, enjoy a baseball game, maybe go to a softball game, and come to the ballpark, come to the stadium, and have a chance to sit and watch football. These people, a lot of them can't afford to come to games. Let's be honest, it's getting really expensive to go to a football game. So if you can bring your family that day and pay $10, whatever, I don't even know if they charge. I think it's a great thing to have a spring game just as a right to spring and get to see their players on the field in uniform. So that's my take on it. And what will we learn? Probably nothing. We can probably tell something about the skill sets, the passing, and what have you. You can't tell a whole lot about the running game. You can tell nothing about the defensive front seven, which is what we want to know about. So, but I'm excited about it. I'm glad it's going to have. I've always liked the Orange Blue game. I put it as a priority. There was a day where several times I came home from the Masters when I had a young quarterback playing there from where I was right working. I was at the Masters first 2 rounds, came home to watch the spring game because I thought it was important. The progress of young players is important in spring. Who would that be? Will they step up? Will they get better? That's what I want to see.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Like I said, I think spring games will be gone here in a few years. You see it around the country already. Uh, I don't know what you get out of it, but I think the games will be gone eventually. Text here on the Titanamore text line from Chris in Mayaca. He says, "Well, basketball emerging, baseball, softball already at the top, and football headed in the right direction. Are we headed for a golden era in Florida athletics? Not to mention track, swimming, and gymnastics. Scott Strickland suddenly looks like a great AD."
It's funny how that changed, right? I think certainly is. I don't know if it's a golden era. By the way, that was the point at the time in football where they couldn't win a game. It was that golden era. But I know what he means. It is a really good time. I mean, you look at even the past week. You look at like he said, basketball, softball, the baseball, all the other programs, really, really starting. Now football is back in the conversation, which is something they were after the 4 wins. Everybody's excited about seeing DJ Lagway and his team, and I think this is going to be a fun season. I think this is their shot to get to the playoffs. Can they get there by winning 8? No, probably not. Maybe 9, maybe 10 for sure. I think you and I are stuck somewhere between 8 and 9 on this team, aren't we? Wins at this point in time.
I haven't really even looked at the schedule, really even thought about it, buddy, quite honestly. I'm
Mm.
kind of done giving my predictions, even though I said we'd win 8 and
Why?
9 last year.
We want your prediction. We need
Yeah.
you to tell us, Shane. We need you. I think we go with the schedule on my show one time a little bit, just way too early to say, look, I mean,
I think we went over the LSU schedule.
oh, okay.
When Urban Meyer wanted to introduce his high quality tequila to the Gator Nation, he made sure he got it to the HBC and his team at Spurs, Gridiron Grill, and Dorn's Liquors. Go beyond with smooth Los Landeros tequila. We got Buddy Martin here. We're going to have Ernest Graham, former Gator running back, now the head football coach at Santa Fe High School, will join us. We'll talk to Ernest a little bit about his.
Ask you about that leg twisting incident against FSU, will you? Coach
I will.
Spurrier was furious about that. Remember?
Yeah, I will. I'll definitely ask him that for sure. Buddy, you been watching the combine at all?
Only times we talked about on the show last night. I don't really watch the combine, but the Gators sure did well for themselves. Some guys made some money from Florida. I'll be honest with you. I knew Florida had some fast players. I did not realize they had so much speed. Did you, Shane?
No, I knew they had speed. I was shocked at Chim DK running that fast. Now here's what people got to remember. Once the season ends, these guys that are invited to the combine, they do nothing but train, train, train,
Mm-hmm.
specifically for 40s, because that is what NFL scouts love, is your 40
Right.
time.
Right.
So just because you run fast does not mean you play football fast,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. But I think Chim DK is a really good football player. I thought he had a tremendous year last year. Uh, but I've always said Montreal Johnson was an NFL running back. I think he'll last in the league a long time.
He's been an amazing player. And of course, I'll say one thing about Billy. He goes after speed. Speed, you got to have that speed. You just have to have that speed. And Florida used to have great speed. DK went 4.34, which is pretty Montreal. Elijah Badger also ran below 4.41 and 4.43. They said all three, they're going to make some money. That gave them some money. And yeah, they got some players. I don't like some of these new players, how they time out in the 40, but we won't hear that for a long time.
You talking about the new players?
Yeah.
Well, they don't really. I mean,
No
they
time
test them in the
out.
40,
Yeah.
but they talk about miles per hour now.
Yeah. Does that bother you?
No, I don't. I don't pay attention to it anyway. I
What?
don't care how fast a guy is on running a 40 in shorts.
Right.
I like to see how fast he plays with pads on in a game.
Football speed. Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
The Wrong 71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quad Plus, says my minimal expectations are this: football makes the playoffs, baseball
Mhm.
makes the College World Series,
Mhm.
basketball to the Elite Eight.
Okay. That's pretty high. But this quad's
I think
doable.
I think you have a chance at two of those happening this year, and you could throw softball in there.
Yeah. Track, of course, you don't.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah, for sure.
Shane, did you remember the comment we made last night on my show about Bill Belichick's favorite new book, or not new favorite book being The Art of War? Remember we talked about it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And we talked about whether or not you think Spurrier's was first. I think if we document it, we find out that the Art of War by Sun Tzu was Spurrier's. I think in Duke, I don't think Belichick was necessarily. I don't know. But apparently he's applied it to it as well. And you said last night you remembered a few of those principles, but now Freddie told us on the show last night that copy of that book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu, and I've read it, by the way, when I was writing Steve's book, that it was sold. Did you say $1,700 at auction?
No, I was there. I was at Danny's
Okay.
Desire Cup,
Yeah.
Florida, Georgia weekend.
How much was it?
Kevin Edmondson from Edmondson Electric down in Tampa.
Yeah.
I was on his golf team. He sat at my table. He bought it for $17,000.
$17,000. Oh, that's right. A little bit different. Gosh.
Yeah, there's a lot of money thrown around at the Desire Cup auction.
Great cause too, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, text here on the Titan Mark text line from Kevin. He says, you guys see Debo got traded? Do y'all think that means Ricky's fully healthy? I think Ricky probably is healthy. I said Debo is never healthy. But boy, I feel like it's a steal what the Redskins got for him. They gave him like a fifth round draft pick, so why not? I still think Debo's got a little bit left in the tank to help the Redskins.
It's funny. I covered that team a little bit because I was played for Spurrier. And I saw some of those kids play. He was a baller all the time, always a heck of a player. And he's
Mhm.
proved to be that in the NFL. Excuse me, a ball player, makes plays.
Josh in Mississippi on the Titan MR text line says, "Good morning, guys. QB, do you have any fun Mardi Gras memories headed to Biloxi Day for a parade?" Well, I only lived down on the coast for 2 years. Uh, I did not have time for Mardi Gras, quite honestly, Josh. I played football, baseball, and basketball, so we were busy practicing or playing games.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a good time from what I hear.
Here's
Good
some
time.
horrible weather coming that way right at that time too. Really bad weather.
Yeah, I thought they canceled. I thought I saw on the news where they canceled a bunch. Maybe that's in New Orleans. They canceled a bunch of stuff.
Parade
Uh,
stuff. I mean, it's just coming through my area here in Panama City, so I know it's coming from New Orleans. I think tonight and tomorrow. Somebody else just keeps up with weather, but it's a really bad weather coming.
This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life. Campus USA Credit Union. 1970, the JU Dolphins, Jacksonville University, was the
Covered them.
first
Covered them.
college basketball team to average 100 plus points per game. Now think about that. That was with
Yeah.
Artis Gilmore, I
Yeah.
believe, but
Pembroke
averaged
Burns the
over
third,
100
Rex
points a
Morgan.
game
Yeah.
and no three-point line.
Yeah, I got a story about that. I covered that team in the championship all the way to the Final Four to Washington, D.C. And I was working at that time in Cocoa at Florida Today, the one it's called Today. And I got a call from Tom Wasden. Tom Wasden was the assistant coach of that team. He called me in the event and said, "Let's go to steak. JU buys great steaks." So we went out and ate the steak. He said, "We're going to be ranked number one in the preseason, and we got a chance to make the Final Four." I thought, man, you lost your mind. Jacksonville University? Well, he did. And of course, they had some wonderful games. I was in Dayton when they beat Kentucky, and they got all the way to Washington and got Sidney Wicks, and he just crammed the ball down Gilmore's throat. But it was a 2 7-footers, Batman and Rob. It was a fun year, and I really enjoyed covering that team. But they could light it up.
Yeah, I mean that's a phenomenal stat. I don't know how many games did they play that year, buddy? At least 30 or 40. 30,
I
I
would
mean,
I would
not
say
30, about
probably
30,
25 to 30 somewhere
and
in
they
there.
averaged
Probably.
100 points a game. That's crazy
Yeah, they
without a
could light it.
three-point
Well,
line.
their competition wasn't great during the year, I got to say, but I mean, still, they did continue in the tournament. They played some of the blue blood teams and still played them. They beat Dan Essel's team in Kentucky. I know that in Dayton. So that's some big games. It was a fun. That was when basketball was a fun game to be the first time at the college level. This is really fun. Tom Watson was a heck of a guy, and still, by the way, hangs around. He subscribes to Gator Bait, as a matter of fact.
This is a text on the Titan MR text line from Jimmy. He says, "Buddy, in your opinion, which coach on campus is on the hot seat for next year?"
Which coach on campus?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know exactly what he's saying. I'm just reading what he texted. Um,
Well, I mean, look at the teams that aren't winning. But Kelly Finley would be there probably because her team is not. It's one better, maybe. I don't think she'd be on the hot. I don't know if I can say anybody was on the hot seat. Billy would be it if you want to call it a hot seat.
yeah.
But he's coming off a heck of a good spurt those last 4 games, and the stock of the Gators is up. Now you hear them being mentioned by a lot of people. Used to be you said, well, who's going to be in the hunt? Nobody mentioned Florida last year. And now suddenly every time they bring up DJ Lagway's name all the time, right up there with Arch Manning. There are a lot of stories about who's the better quarterback, etc. I think they're really in good shape. I hate today who they played the first game, but they're going to get a chance to prove themselves early on against Miami and whatever. And I think this team could be really, really good. Maybe I don't know if they'll be a championship team or not, but they certainly are a lot better. I don't know if I can answer that question. I don't think of anybody that's on the hot seat. Can you?
No, I mean, as I don't know who mentioned it earlier, but athletic wise, Gators in all sports are doing really well right now. And but football is what drives the bus, right?
It
So
does, yes. Yes.
Once the fall rolls around, that's all that's going to matter is what's going on.
That Golden situation appears to have been straightened out best we can. This is not basketball related, but certainly it was. So the answer to that question is none that I can think of.
Yeah. Kanye Ron said new coaches for men's tennis and women's tennis finding their footing. Yeah, I'll be honest. I have no idea how either one of those programs are doing.
I don't follow it that much. They got a great player, but I don't follow it. It's hard to follow everything, Shane. How do you watch all this and cover all this stuff?
Women's soccer has struggled a little bit recently as well. So
Haven't seen them. Don't know.
yeah, it's a fall sport. So we're gonna have a new volleyball coach
Yep.
this year, which is crazy to think. But once again, Mary Wise had a phenomenal run for sure.
She certainly did.
Andy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, Jacksonville was 27-2 that year.
I was right.
Lost to the
25 and 30. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They lost to the semis and then UCLA.
Okay, but they didn't lose the tournament to the semis.
I don't know who that. I mean,
regular season.
So he was just saying UCLA
I remember
and State were their losses.
Yeah, I think I do remember that FSU loss. Yeah. But no, but they were really fun to watch, and this team is fun to watch. I mean, gosh, the talent they got, unbelievable, man! I'm so excited. Probably, who do you think will be the prize pick out of that whole class, off that team?
Off which team?
Florida's basketball team, Walter Clayton or Alec. Who do you think will be the number one pick?
Well, first of all, there's only 2 rounds, I believe, in the NBA draft. I think the only guy that will get drafted, that has a chance to get drafted, is Walt. The other guys will sign free agent contracts and go to the G League, or whatever all that is, and they may make the roster or they may play overseas. It's just you got to be a different type dude to play in the NBA. It's as much as I do not like the NBA until playoffs. I'm not sure we have an NBA player other than Walter.
Well, I mean, there's one guy on the front court that's being mentioned as a possible number one choice. Shoot, help me out, Alec. What's his name?
Alex Condon.
Alex Condon's been by several people online. Condon is saying people are saying he could be a number one choice, number one pick. Not me, basketball people. Condon fits the mold. He's got the speed, the size. He can shoot. He can defend. He's being talked a lot about people as a number one pick. So I'm just telling you, I don't know this.
No, I mean, they know more than I do. I personally like Thomas Houck as a better NBA player because of his shooting ability. Because I think he's a much better shooter than Alex Condon. But anyway.
Well, he's a different kind of player. He's more of a perimeter player. Alex Condon's an inside guy.
Well, that's kind of what the NBA is now. Big guys play on the outside.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Anyway, we'll research that. I just read several articles about it, and I've talked to friends, and they're talking about Condon being a number one pick. I don't know. I can't tell you.
All right. Buddy, who you got on your program tonight before we get you out of here?
It's tonight we're going to have Steve Russell. Haven't talked to Steve in a long time since he's been into so-called retirement. I don't think he is going to be retiring. He's did a great job for a lot of years. Shane, you never listened to this because you were always doing something else, but the late night shows after games that he put on,
he had
to take the abuse of the Gator fans who are angry, and Steve did a great job of handling those people. It's tough. Some of those guys get in their cups late at night, want to beat up on Steve. But Russell did. He's taught school. He partially helped discover Laura Rutledge. He gave her her first job, and we took her to TV. But Russell's on tonight, and also we'll have Rob Brown will be on tonight, and we'll do our thing at 9:00. Check us out. Lauren Meadows will be co-hosting.
All right, good stuff, buddy. Have a good day, my friend.
All right, man. Sorry about getting an argument about the politics thing. I don't mean
there's no argument.
Okay.
Everybody has their own opinion, but there's no argument about the issue I was referring to. There's zero. It's either yes or no. Nothing else. Had nothing involved in anything else. Have a good day, buddy.
You too.
That's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Take a quick time out. Come back. We'll be joined by Ernest Graham, former Gator running back. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, Dave & Buster's, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Meals Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Signs, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Okido America, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
I'm tired of you living in pain, and I want you to get real lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees, back, shoulders, and hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Stop putting it off. Call now and schedule your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now in Gainesville, Ocala, and the Villages. 352-400-4550. 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office, a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. We're waiting on Ernest Graham to join the program. In the meantime, we'll get to some texts and some comments here. Real quick, Conyer Ron wants to know, what is Ernest Graham doing these days? He just took about 2 weeks ago, Conyer Ron, the head coaching job at Santa Fe High School in Alachua. He will be the head coach there. This is a text regarding the combine from Jimmy. He wants to know, Shane, did you see Will Howard's performance? And can you talk about your combine days? Ooh. Well, I went to the combine in 1992. I walked in there and in my boxers. You know, they make you take off all your clothes but your boxers, and they weigh you and they test your wingspan, your hand size. I weighed a whopping 180. I had a good vertical jump. I threw the ball well. Will Howard did not throw the ball well, but I would not make a lot out of that because, you know, there's a lot of guys, I said this on yesterday's program, that go in there and light it up on air. And then you turn on their tape and they're not very good. So I can't believe some of the throws he missed, but I would not put too much into that. But yeah, the combine has changed a lot. I talked about the silly drill or whatever you want to call it, where they had the quarterback stand about 10 yards from a padded wall and threw the ball as hard as they possibly could. I don't know when you're ever going to do that. I don't know if anybody ever does that in a football game. I think it's completely stupid. I don't know why they do it. Reggie says, if UF could have created a beach program, Mary Wise would have been able to draw more top 100 West Coast players and won a title. There is no doubt in my mind she was handcuffed by the university. That's yeah, beach volleyball would have definitely helped. I think it's probably a Title IX deal, Reggie, but makes sense. Annie's question on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law. Shane, well, I got to pull it up. It went away. I don't know why it goes away on my laptop, but I'll pull it up on my phone and I'll read y'all's questions. Like I said, we're waiting on Ernest Graham. Wanted to talk to him about his new gig and also about Miles playing for the Gators, wearing his dad's number. Pretty cool. Yeah, everybody wants to know about the Darnell Dockett thing. So we're going to ask him. Hopefully he didn't oversleep. Maybe he had a late meeting and overslept, working his kids out. But in the meantime, Mark says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel. Shane, thank you for standing up for the girls, women's, and for common sense. We need more like you. Well, look, I mean, it's simple. You can believe all the, you can have a difference of opinions. Like I said, I don't like to talk politics on here. You know, I think of it, I think of politics very similar to coaching. A person takes over a program, and the reason that person's taking over a program is because somebody got fired or it hasn't been going well or whatever, and makes changes and all hell breaks loose. People don't like what they're doing. That's fine. You can like it or you can't like it. But there's some things that it's just common sense. And if anybody, I have a daughter, she didn't even play sports. She was a dancer. But I have so many friends of mine that have girls that are athletes. And I think Bates had to go through this with the one swimmer from Penn or wherever. And Bates, he's talked about it on this program before. It was not a good thing. But I have other friends now that play a ton of volleyball, high school volleyball, travel volleyball. I'd be damned if you see a guy playing on one of those teams against them. I think all hell would break loose, quite honestly. Andy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. Shane, as a QB, would you rather have an elite left tackle, wide receiver, or running back on offense? Ooh, that's a good question. I would take the running back out because from a quarterback standpoint, you always want to have a great running back, but having an elite receiver would help you more than the running back. But that elite left tackle, if you're a right-hander, is crucial. It depends on who I'm choosing between, Andy. I'll put it that, but that's a great question. Great question. All right, I'm gonna reach out. Hang on, folks. I'm gonna reach out to. Let me text Ernest one more time. All right. This text on the Titan Mar text line says, of all the ex-Gator QBs, who is the best golfer? I would say me. Yep. I'll take any of them anytime, anywhere. Gary says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Condon, I don't think was a #1 pick, but in the first round. Yeah, he's not a #1 pick, but he could be a first rounder. The NBA is crazy, man. You know, you watch the NBA, you'd be like, who is that guy? And you look him up and he played at some school and you're like, well, I never even heard of him there. They like to take projects in the NBA a lot. Barone 71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Pump, says men's indoor volleyball would be nice to see at the SEC level as well. The Pac-12 always has volleyball and it's competitive. Yeah, I just don't know. You know, it's the whole Title IX thing, Barone. We got sports, a lot of sports on campus right now. And my concern moving forward is a lot of these non-revenue generating sports could fade away in the years to come, just due to the NIL. Because, you know, somebody I was speaking with the other day at the golf course, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, they were talking about how the revenue sharing that's going to come from each school, because now the schools, as we all know, can pay the athletes as well as your NIL programs or collectives. They were saying that, I forgot whose model it was. I don't know if it was Georgia or Ohio State. I could be wrong, but they said that they were going to take 75% of that money and it was going to football. Then I think 10% was going to men's basketball, and then the leftover, so what's that, 15% more was going to be spread out among all the other sports. So it'll be interesting. Franklin also knows there's still men's wrestling at UF. No. Now they may have club wrestling. See, a lot of people don't know they have club sports through the intramural programs. You know, we've had the hockey team on our program before. They won a national title last year. They have club golf. I see the club golf team practicing all the time out at the UF golf course on Sundays a lot of times. So anyway, I guess we're not going to get, hang on. Now, I guess we're not going to, I don't know where Ernest is. Text on the Titan Mar text line from Zion. He says, Fred Couples said in an interview that Brooks Koepka wants back to the PGA. He said a lot of golfers will want to come back, but some will be pushed out. That's about the only news coming from the PGA. Yeah, Koepka, I've heard that as well. I'd like to see Brooks back in the PGA Tour. Mark wants to know, speaking of golf, this is YouTube brought to you by Quad Plumbing. Speaking of golf, you ever play with Gary Koch? I have played with Gary Koch, one of the nicest human beings in the world, and he can still play, boy. He still golf his ball at his age. Mike wants to know on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, what do you think of the Gators basketball matchup versus Bama tomorrow? Going to be tough. All right, we got Ernest Graham here on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. I think he's muted. We just got to get him to unmute. Can you hear us, Ernest?
I can hear you. I'm working on that.
Hey, buddy, I appreciate you joining the program. Welcome. Look at you. You already got your new gear on, new football coach at Santa Fe High School. Congratulations. First of all, tell us what made you take the job.
You know what? We just coming into the area, I've, kind of, a personal thing. I wasn't sure that I wanted to be, a head coach again, really, anytime soon, just for, personal things that I, obviously needed to work through. Obviously I have both of my kids here, in the area. So my plate is, pretty full. But I got a chance to come here last year when you played here last year, and I did, really take notice to, first of all, how well we were hosted. We came here, there was a crowd, even though the program had, been down for a while. You could definitely get a sense of the community pride. I was here and, we felt like it was good football players on the field. So when the opportunity, presented itself, you could get a chance to take a more intimate look really at the program. I really felt like it reflected the values, that we have as a family, that I have personally, and have some of the components and elements that you need to build a successful program. So it was a no-brainer.
Yeah. Santa Fe, the Alachua community always gives good support to that program.
Yep.
They just need to find the right guy, and looks like they found a winner in you. We've had a bunch of people, because I told them you were going to be on the program today. They want to go back to your college playing days. They want to ask, did Darnell Dockett ever apologize to you?
Always, like I always know it's gonna be the first question. No, he didn't, but in his way, man. We were bumping to each other when we were both in the league. Obviously he was a phenomenal player, and he's in the coaching and leadership in the area, from what I understand, in the area that he lives in now. So we would always, kind of see each other, and we kind of, we both, squashed it, when we were, bumping each other. A couple times, people would kind of ask the question, and we'll come up again. It would get, obviously get Gators fans, fired up, and, rightfully so. But, yeah, we put it behind us, man. And, that was definitely something that has, come forward, that, Gator fans are always, want to ask the question, because they're still fired up about it. But I get it.
Bobby's text on the Titan MR text line for you says, Ernest, how does your body feel after all the hits that you took in college and in the National Football League?
As soon as he started talking about it, I started popping my neck. No, if you play a while, and especially if you play the position I played, I don't think even most people realize I was mostly a fullback in the league. I had my years where I played tailback, but I was more of a hybrid, player. So, at 225, 230, in the system that we were playing in, I was I was lead blocking, and I was running down on special teams, and first man in the wedge. So there's always some definite effects for playing football violent like that. I do my best to to obviously keep up with myself. I'm sure my neck's a little shorter, and just to be honest with you, just checking into it, I got some degenerative stuff going on, but hey, man, I'm really proud of the time I spent. I wouldn't, have it any other way. And, I feel as good as I feel as I need to feel.
All right, I want to ask you this. Obviously, with your son, Miles, who played last year as a true freshman for the Gators, he played his high school ball in Georgia. Y'all moved down his senior year. He played at Buchholz.
Yep,
He was always committed to the Gators. I mean,
that's right.
obviously, he grew up being a Gator great son. But when he signed and the first time you saw him run out of that tunnel wearing number 5, what kind of
Yeah,
feeling did Dad get?
man, it was amazing, man. Of course, it, kind of threw me back to my, my first time coming out. But, I was just even more proud of him because I think in an era where, kids, and I get why they do it, but, kids flip flop all over the place. Have a little flair for the dramatic, because of social media. He stood in that space and, and really stood on his commitment and, really believed, in what he, was really meant to do. So, not only is it a continuing legacy, but I was just really, proud of him, the way he stood through that moment, the way he professed it, the way he spoke of the orange and blue, the other recruits, people in the class. And it's something that it's an experience and a commitment that, he stood in that'll last him a lifetime.
Andy's question on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, does Miles miss not playing offense, and could he possibly be in the offensive backfield in special situations?
You know what? He does. I obviously I trained him. We have more of an athletic mindset. So in high school he was he's a veer quarterback. He played safety, he played linebacker, and he obviously was a heck of a running back, and I believe could obviously play at the highest levels doing it. He definitely misses it because he's an athlete, and as an athlete you want to contribute in any way possible. We're so good in the backfield. I don't even know if that's necessary. I could see him doing some other things. He's about 230, so maybe they got a position, some kind of position where he can jump in as like a an H/fullback or something like that. I think it becomes an advantage, but I'm sure he would love to do it if the opportunity presented itself.
Yeah. Text on the Titan Mart text line from Robert. He wants to know, Ernest, you played for both Spurrier and Zook. What was the difference in those guys as head coaches?
Oh, coach was coach, man. The HBC was the HBC, and you knew what you knew what he expected. He stood on that. He was that simple a guy. As you're going to come across, obviously naturally funny, witty, ahead of his time in all kind of ways. Zook is a guy who probably just exhibited more fire. In a sense, I'm sure that's why he was who he was on the defensive side of the ball. Coach as kind of a obviously an offensive through like typically guys who are playmakers, quarterbacks. Those guys have a certain moxie to them and a certain confidence that they exhibit. So I think the difference really was, one was, who he was offensively, Zook, having a defensive and a special teams background and bringing the energy and the fire that he brought in every day was a little bit different. So it was definitely personality based, but I enjoyed playing for both of those guys.
You were on that 2001 team, right, for coach?
Yes.
Yeah, I try to tell people because sometimes the best teams don't always win championships.
Don't always win championships.
To this day, I still think the 2001 team was Spurrier's best team.
Wow.
I mean,
yeah, we were
loaded.
Yeah, we were absolutely loaded. Not only that, man, to say we were fun is not to say anything. And, with the way we all played during those times. But, man, we were fun. We were, really electric. A lot of things really happened that year. Obviously 9/11, all those different things, that happened. A lot of things happened, that just obviously changed our fate. But man, we were loaded. It was, fun to play with those guys. You go back and a lot of those guys went on to have, phenomenal careers. But I say that as well, man. I really do believe we were one of the best to suit up, for the Gators.
Nat says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law. Tell Ernest, thank you for taking the job at Santa Fe. I'm a graduate and parent of a Santa Fe student. Santa Fe needs a good coach. I got to ask you. So I played for my dad. My dad was a high school coach. You've been coaching high school ball a lot. I got to ask you, what is Miles going to do when you play wherever, you get back on the bus at about 11:45 at night and the Gators are playing in Baton Rouge? Are you going to somehow get to the game, or are you going to just watch it on TV?
Yeah, some of them I'm going to watch on TVs and want the TV, the ones I can't get to. My wife obviously can, make a number of those games. But the games that I can get to, I'm going to get to. I really trust my staff here. With technology these days, it's a little bit different. So I can, get some things that I, need to get done and, have some foresight. So, as much as we can do, you try to, prepare for guys and, get some of the things that you need, done early, because I know it's coming, and then, you chip away at it on the weekends and, be ready to go by Monday. So, it's a lot, but I'm going to, 100%, be there for my son and do everything I have to get done for this program.
Yeah, because the reason I said that is because, I'm from Mississippi, so it's about 6.5 to 7 hour drive. So my mom and dad would leave as soon as right after the game, right back when they got back on the bus, and they would drive all the way to the hotel here, get here at like 6 a.m. They'd sleep for a couple of hours before kickoff and then go to the game. I don't know how the hell they did it, but they didn't miss a game. It was crazy. It was crazy. All right, last thing for you before we get you out of here.
No, it's tough, man.
Congratulations again, because I say the most influential person for a young athlete is his high school coach, because that's that time of period where you're going to make good choices, bad choices. Congratulations. We wish you a lot of success at Santa Fe. I want to get you back on maybe after spring football. Let me know how that goes. But have you hired your entire staff?
I would love to.
And
I have not hired my entire staff. I have not yet. I'm still working. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, you was breaking up.
Can you hear me?
Former Gator Cooper Carlisle is going to help with the O-line a little bit, right?
Yes, he is. And listen, that is a, unbelievable thing to obviously have in place. I mean, a guy with his experience that has played as long as he has, Coop's around. I got to prod him a little bit to be a little bit, more, out in front, because he kind of sits back. He's the wise guy, in the room, and we'll talk about something, and he'll kind of let me have my way. I'm like, come on, dude, you're Coop now, step up and get going. So, but having him, man, is really is just counsel, and having the vast experience that he has, man, he makes he's going to make this a lot easier.
Joe says, Ernest, we miss you in Fort Myers. Ernest, appreciate you taking the time. Good luck to the Raiders. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. That's Ernest Graham. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Florida Crackers, the brand for original Floridians. Great food and Southern hospitality in the center of the universe. Brooksville, Florida. FloridaCracker.com. Appreciate everybody chiming in. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.